Hello everybody, my name is RetroBoy03 and welcome to my video review of the TOMY Sonic the Hedgehog Collector Series 8-inch Classic Supersonic plush. This guy is available for around $15 in the United States. He has released recently, and at the time of this video, there are a few places where it can be found. Some people have found him at Newberry Comics and at FYE, although not all stores will have them. However, a store where pretty much every location will have them is Target, because at the very least every location I know of, I haven't heard of a location yet that didn't have these guys at Target. So just go to your Target. If they're not on shelves, they might have them in the back. In fact, they probably do have them in the back. I had to ask for these out of the back, for example, but anyway. So, yeah, just ask an employee to get them for you from the back, then you can get these guys. Anyway, enough about how these guys are available. Let's just start by talking about the first plush of Classic Supersonic in 22 years. Because, oh yeah, you might not know this, but, the only other time Classic Supersonic ever got an officially released plush was back in 1996 for the Sonic the Fighters plush set. Based off of the, the extremely well-known and just iconic, beloved classic Sonic the Fighters. So yeah, that plush is worth like $2,000 because it was based off of Sonic the Fighters, so no one knew it existed. It was extremely poorly produced and exclusive to Japan, so it sold for like $2,000 on eBay. Luckily now we have this guy instead, and well, that wasn't going to be the only Classic Super plush. Jazzwares was going to make a Classic Supersonic plush, but that got cancelled along with a bunch of their other plushes. But anyway, enough about that. Let's just get to this guy, this new Classic Supersonic by TOMY. And first off, just gotta say, this guy's face is pretty nice. It's pretty similar to the normal Sonic. Obviously you have the same eye shape, although here he does look a bit more angry, which is nice. Obviously he doesn't have a brow ridge, but, the brow section, I guess, is a bit... It's a bit farther down. It just gives his eyes a more angry shape. And the embroidery, the black embroidery, is slightly indented into the top of that yellow brow ridge. I'm just going to call it the brow ridge, even though this guy doesn't actually have one. It's just sort of the extra bit of fuzz that hangs over the white material. But anyway, so yeah. I feel as though the eyes on this guy might be a little bit small. I don't have the Collector Series Sonic plush, but I do have the 25th Anniversary Sonic, and just putting him over here, you can see that, yeah, the new Supersonic, the black eye shine is a bit small, but anyway, I think the nose here is, also, it sort of looks a bit more like a ball nose. That nose kind of reminds me of the good old Sega World Sydney plushes that looked really weird. And, again, I'm not sure if I prefer to have this slightly sort of ball-shaped nose, or if I prefer this sort of really pointy nose from this guy. I don't know. I don't have the Collector's Sonic, or the Laughing Sonic. Maybe those guys have really great noses, but I didn't have those, so I can't compare them to those. I think Sonic's mouth looks pretty well, though. It's well-embroidered, and it has a nice shape to it. Probably my biggest complaint with this whole guy, and I know I haven't gotten to a lot of positives yet, but, I'm getting to those. I've already talked about how I like the eye shape, and just the head shape in general is really well done, but for some reason his ears are really short. There's sort of a positive and a negative with his ears. On one hand, TOMY's improved over their previous Sonic plushes, like the 25th Anniversary Sonic, Collector's Classic Sonic, and even the Collector's Modern Sonic, because, now he actually has the little yellow rim around his ears, but at the same time, his ears are really short now, although, to be honest, I feel as though the slightly short ears does look better than the practically, bat ears this guy has. So, it's really just up to your personal preference. As you can see, my guy's face was stuffed a bit odd. There's definitely more stuffing over here than over here, so his face ends up looking a bit squished on this side, but to be honest, obviously that's a mistake. That's sort of a unique mistake that you'll only see with mine. Yours probably won't have that, so no need to worry. Turning this guy around to the back, you can see that his 6 spikes are very well done. They all stick up, they're all well stuffed, they all look great. They come out to the side nicely, and unlike on, say, the Collector's Modern Sonic, where I felt as the spikes came out a bit too far to the sides, I feel like the spikes on this guy look absolutely flawless. This guy's back spikes looks pretty good. I have seen some that have really bad and shriveled-looking back spikes, but luckily mine has the proper stuffing here. His tail is also pretty nice, and in general, I do feel as though the bigger back spikes and tail look really good compared to this guy who had those. I mean, like, I remember, like, a year ago when I got this guy and I thought he was amazing, but now, like, there are a lot of improvements TOMY's made in, like, the year and a half since that guy came out. But anyway, you can see that his pose is interesting. I think it's supposed to represent, like, he's flying along, like in Sonic 2, but instead it just sort of looks like he's doing a Sonic RT pose, which is, to be honest, probably a bit greater. Anyway, yeah, his arms come out to the side very nicely. Yeah, so it's nicely done. You can see his fists have some nice stitching. The fingers aren't perfect, but it's probably some of the better finger stitching TOMY's done on one of their plushies, so that's fine. His stomach is structured pretty similarly to the 25th anniversary Sonic with that seam in the middle, although I am glad that unlike 25th anniversary Sonic, this guy's stomach doesn't come to a big point, so that's a definite improvement. His legs are fine. They're attached to on the front, which isn't the same on my, like, the 25th anniversary plush had them attached in the middle. And while I feel as though in a standing pose, having them in the middle would be better, I think it works better here because obviously this works much better for a sitting pose, which is how you're going to have your plush most of the time. So that's good. His shoes are well detailed. You have the embroidered white strap, of course, and then also the very nicely done buckle. Like, again, this guy's just very good. He has the same sort of tush tag that all of the classic plushes have, whether they be 25th anniversary or collectors, so that's nice to see. His paper tag just has this piece of supersonic art, which I'm not sure, but I think this might be one of the only pieces of art of classic Supersonic. Like, despite being such an important character to the series, or, well, I mean, I guess, transformation of Sonic, there isn't a lot of stuff for Supersonic in general. Like, again, this is one of only 2 plushes of classic Supersonic. There are barely any plushes of modern Supersonic, even. There's only, like, 1 classic Supersonic action figure by Jazzwares. Actually, no, there's 2, I think. I think they might have done, like, a 5-inch or something, but I might be wrong about that. There's only, like, for modern Supersonic, there's only the Jazzwares figure, or, again, possibly 2, not sure. I'm not entirely sure about Jazzwares' 5-inch scale. I'm not sure how many figures they did there. To be honest, I think it might have only been a couple, but I don't know. Maybe they did a Supersonic pack. I don't know. I'm remembering seeing one, but then again, I might be remembering wrong. Anyway, Supersonic merch isn't common, so especially merch of classic Supersonic. So this guy's pretty great overall. And I've already compared him sort of to the 25th anniversary Sonic plush, but just to go in one more time, I feel as though this guy improves in a lot of ways. I feel as though this guy might have a slightly better looking eye design, definitely. I feel as though the bigger eyes work better, although, then again, seeing as how this guy is supposed to look angry, I feel as though the smaller eyes on Supersonic do help him to look less adorable and more angry, so I guess it works either way. The ears are sort of a trade-off. I mean, personally, I prefer the Supersonic's ears both ways, because I feel as though they are maybe a bit they're a bit smaller than they should be, but I also feel as though that actually helps them to look better. I don't know. The spikes on both are really well stuffed, like just turning these around to the back. Like, you can just see that we have some amazing spike details here on both. This guy has much better back spikes and tail. The shoes on both are pretty much the same, like... Is this area... Oh, I forgot to mention him. It should have been rather obvious, but this guy does have the glove and shoe cuffs with the stitching line in the middle. But, yeah. So... yeah, that's classic Supersonic, but there are a couple things I want to show you before I close out. First off, a size comparison. Since this guy is pretty much the same size as Sonic, he does scale pretty well with Tails. Like, again, TOMY's plushes aren't exactly in scale, so really, if, are these in the camera? I can't, oh yeah, we're good. So really, they're about the same height, but I honestly think that, I don't know, I mean, like, also Supersonic seems a bit bigger, maybe it's just because his spikes stand up, but he seems to be a bit taller than Tails, which is nice. Definitely helps it to be a bit more accurate than the 25th anniversary plushes. Again, I don't have Collector Sonic. Maybe Collector Sonic was also a bit taller than Collector's Tails. Not sure. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure that this guy, yeah, this guy's definitely a bit taller than Tails, so that's nice. However, comparing this guy, actually, before I get rid of this guy, you might, also Supersonic's color is a bit too light. Like, just comparing the plush to the artwork on his tag, also maybe they could have gone a bit darker there, like, on the, here it's showing up the same, but the yellow on the tag is a bit darker than what we see on the plush, so I feel so maybe if they'd sort of gone in between this yellow and Tails' sort of yellowy orange, I feel so that would have looked pretty good, but this guy still looks fine, but there's another Tails plush I have to compare him to for something interesting, and that's this 25th anniversary Tails plush. And, well, why am I comparing these two? It's quite simple. I mean, like, while Supersonic, I do like the fuzzier material they use on this guy. At the same time, really, on the game, of course, Supersonic is very glowy and shiny, because he's a golden man. So, I don't know, I feel as though maybe they should have used the crushed velvet material for him, like, maybe not for this guy, but I think it would be cool if at some point, maybe even for like a higher price, like even though the $15 price point was originally designed for these crushed velvet guys, and they just sort of moved it over to these guys. Feels like it would be cool to see maybe like a special edition classic Supersonic with the crushed velvet, maybe even for like $20. I mean, heck, it could even be like a Comic-Con exclusive. Like, that would mean I would never get it, but it would still be a cool thing to see a shiny Supersonic plush. But, just a thought. This guy still looks great. He is great. And, honestly, I would give this guy, like, an A. I don't think he's as good as the Chow, but he's probably, I'd say he's my third favorite plush Tomy's made, so third or fourth, not sure, because, like, Tomy's made a lot of great plushes. The Chow is the best. Collector's Tails is pretty great. Modern Sonic is pretty great. But this guy's also pretty great. So honestly, I feel so this is just a plush for everybody. And, well, I apologize for the ending of this video, but really, I have no choice. Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day? Can you think about the good times? I don't know the lyrics, 'cause everybody's supersonic racing. Gotta get your feet right on the ground. I don't know why I've done this. Please comment, like, and subscribe, I guess. Well, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. Just go. Bye.